craving had been a grasping, a yearning for love from people. I'd set my heart on accolades and performed like a circus animal, expecting the ovation at the conclusion of the show. My heart clearly was misaligned. I was working against the way and work of God in my own life because my heart had become distorted in its search for self-glory. Just a few minutes prior, I'd said to Kyle, "I feel like a vending machine that requires no payment. Everyone comes and pushes buttons without putting money in, and I have to respond according to their demands." I'd said this with disdain for those expecting goods and services from me, not realizing how this analogy laid my own soul bare. Have to respond. Those were the incriminating words, as if to not respond in the ways others wanted wasn't even an option. And in my line of thinking, it wasn't, because I wanted to be loved. I couldn't disappoint because I wanted to be loved. I served because I wanted to be loved. Though I resented everyone lined up at my vending machine, I also, in my distortion, needed them. I needed them to see what I did for them so they might admire and stroke me. I needed them to feed my starving soul. I felt entitled to their love. Sure, they should honor me in the specific ways I secretly held as firm and unrealistic expectations. And they hadn't given me my craving, so I'd raged quietly inside, cherishing my bitterness. I'd been looking for a way to blame others or even God himself for my weariness and uncertainty, but the accusing finger only pointed back at me. Grieved and starved, yes, but ultimately it had been by my own hand. At the core of my heart was an allegiance to love, but because it was an allegiance to the imperfect and incomplete love of people rather than the perfect and complete love of God, my life had become tinged with fear. Fear drove me from bed every morning and worked me into exhaustion. Fear used me up, muddied my relationships, confused my thinking, and nursed my bitterness. Fear wondered aloud if I could ever be loved for who I was rather than what I did for others. And fear made me restless in my own skin. My allegiance to the love of others broke my heart of its ability to contain and experience joy. I had become confused about the kingdom of God. Our hearts are made for allegiance. In our evangelical Christian culture today, we've not simply become confused about the kingdom of God. We've mostly forgotten the concept or shoved it aside completely. We have little foundational understanding of the very thing Jesus talked about more than any other when he walked this earth. And it's showing. It's showing in the blurred lines we've allowed between earthly kingdoms and God's kingdom. It's showing in how we date, marry, parent, age, and face death. It's showing in how we define ourselves and various other groups of people. It's showing in our individual pursuits at the expense of others, even within the confines of our churches. It's showing through what we're ambitious for and what we admire most. We're a confused people, saying we desire to live according to the kingdom of God, expressing a desire to participate in kingdom work, but not understanding at all what it means to do so, aside from sprinkling Jesus in somewhere along the way. The kingdom of God is ultimately about allegiance. Jesus described it as being like a seed, invisible to the eye, implanted and sprouting in the hearts of those who have pledged their lives to him. And so, in order to understand and orient ourselves toward the kingdom of God, we must look at the heart. If our hearts are divided according to contradictory allegiances, we cannot and will not experience the joy and life Jesus promised us. Instead, we experience confusion, anxiety, isolation, and the painful consequences of the actions we take in allegiance to false kings. We become grieved and starved. So we will, in these chapters, ask God to search our hearts, show us our allegiances, and restore what we've divided or kept from him.